All right, we are back. It's Monday evening. It's weather for Weather Geeks time. We did not do Weather Geeks Thursday and Friday last week. I was actually busy with a lot of things, but one of the things was continuing to train meteorologist A.J. Harris, who made her debut on 21 News at 6 o'clock on Saturday. She'll be our weekend evening meteorologist, so you'll see her regularly at 6 and 11 on Saturdays and Sundays, filling in for Jess or myself occasionally through the week as well. And hope you were able to check out her forecast. Make sure you're following her on social media as well. Meteorologist A.J. Harris on Facebook and on Twitter. We're real excited to have her aboard, and after having a few months where we were a little short-handed, it's nice to be back at full strength in the weather department. All right. Well, today was another warm day, of course. Temperatures spiked into the lower 80s, 83 today. That was our forecast from this morning, so we hit it right on the nose today. 5 in a row and only 3 misses so far in the 2-degree guarantee for the month of September. So 15 out of 18 days. We've been on the money within 2 degrees anyway with our daily forecasted high temperatures. All right, the warmth is a story, but also is kind of a secondary big story is how dry it's getting, and quite a pattern flip from the first half of the year into the second half of 2017. The first half of the year, with the exception of April, was pretty wet compared to the average, including June, where at the airport we were almost 3 inches above average. But look at July, August, and even though September's not over, through the first 18 days of the month, we're about 1.5 inches shy of average for the month of September. We're still running a surplus for the year. Notice we're still getting close to 5 inches as far as our yearly surplus, but a lot of brown yards out there because, again, it's been pretty dry since mid-summer. And some other recent dry months, I came up with a few here. The driest I could find in the last 20 years or so was July of 1997, 0.66. June of 1988, you remember, of course, the drought of 1988. June only featured 0.71. So far in September at the airport, 0.78. And more recently, back in November of 2012, we had 0.82 inches worth of precipitation. Now, the official drought monitor is updated every Thursday. So my suspicion is when this gets reissued again this week on Thursday, this yellow area may expand some. We'll get into the officially dry category in more places, I think, later on this week. And we're certainly not adding to any of that this evening. When I recorded Weather Geeks this evening at 7:38 p.m., a scattering of showers and storms over towards I-75 in western Ohio. All of these are petering out as they come east, and we will stay dry for the overnight hours. The tropics, very active once again. Of immediate concern in the lower 48 is Jose, which is prompting tropical storm warnings for Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, heading down towards the east end of Long Island Sound. It's a tropical storm watch for much of Long Island and the Jersey Shore, heading down towards the Delaware shoreline, and then it turns into a tropical storm warning again for the Maryland shoreline, down into the mouth of the Chesapeake and into the Outer Banks of North Carolina as well. Now, this isn't the most impressive looking system in the world. A lot of dry air being ingested into this. Still a minimal hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. The pressure not especially low at 977. It's moving north at 10 miles per hour. Now, Jose is not likely to make landfall in the U.S., but it's certainly causing rough surf and rip currents along the beaches. And some gusty winds certainly will be felt out towards Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, the islands. This will probably weaken into a tropical storm at some point, then a tropical depression. It may actually kind of loop-de-loop a little bit as we go out into the long range. We may still have Jose on the weather map in a week or so, kind of meandering off the coast of the Northeast. A much bigger deal is this. This is powerful. Hurricane Maria, which has rapidly strengthened over the last several hours. It is now a powerhouse Category 4. Look at the pinhole eye. This is a very mature, very frightening-looking hurricane. This may become a Category 5 later on tonight. Right now, maximum winds 130, the pressure down to 950, moving west-northwest at 9. Now, many of these islands in the Caribbean were, of course, ravaged by Irma not that long ago. And so this is the last thing they want to see, another powerhouse hurricane moving through. And, this could be a big problem for Puerto Rico as well. Puerto Rico is sort of spared Irma with the eye passing to the north. Right now, the most likely track has Maria going very near the east end of Puerto Rico. This may just go over the whole island. They're certainly in the cone. So this obviously is a big concern for parts of the Caribbean, and then eventually it'll probably take more of a northerly track, taking it through a different part of the Bahamas than Irma went through. And this is not likely to make a landfall in Florida like Irma, but Maria could be a problem a little farther to the north in the longer range. Next week, heads up maybe for northeast Florida and maybe Georgia and the Carolinas. So that's a little look at the tropics. It's certainly very, very interesting and concerning out in the tropics. All right, tomorrow's big picture looks like this: 12 hours and 17 or 18 minutes of daylight. The sunset now before 7:30 p.m. Notice if the month ended today, it would be the third driest September on record here in Youngstown. Our forecast tomorrow, pretty much just like today. 82 degrees, 11 above average, and not threatening the record of 90 set in 1935. All right, our weather for the next couple of days. What you see is what you get. Now, there will be a little disturbance aloft that comes through. I can't totally rule out a late-day shower tomorrow, but most of this, again, is going to be out towards I-75 in western Ohio. Wednesday might bring us a slight chance of an afternoon shower as well. I don't have anything in the forecast right now for Wednesday. I might have to throw a 20% chance in. These are the only two chances for rain over the next 7, because once we get into Thursday, Friday, and the weekend, I mean, you talk about snooze and cruise weather. It is going to be sunny and warm, and every day looking about the same. It's going to be very, very July-like by the time the end of the week and the weekend rolls around. Look at the temperature trend, though. Your eye is definitely drawn towards the end of this. This, of course, is not going to last forever, but it's going to last another week. I mean, we got a solid week of mid-80s coming for daytime highs. Overnight lows in the lower 60s. Air conditioners still running despite fall officially beginning on Friday. But notice the pattern change, and this is the European model, but other models are generally advertising the same thing here, of a much overdue return to average and even below average temperatures at the very end of September and heading into the first few days of October. So the pattern is going to change, but it's going to be another 8, 9, 10 days before it does so. Until then, wow. I was thinking earlier in September that September would end up kind of like August, a little cooler than average. That was wrong. An amazing pattern flip, resulting in all that cool weather we had at the beginning of September being wiped out by this extreme warmth over the next week. And September, almost no doubt now, will go into the record books as a warmer than average month, unlike August. Thanks for checking out tonight's weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you tonight, 21 News at 11, and have a great rest of your Monday night.